to this alumni event organized by Voyagers Club FMS Lucknow. I also welcome HOD of CSE, Dr. Hemant Kumar Singh, our faculty member Sunil sir, and all other faculty members who are present over here, and all my dear friends. Recently, our seniors took a great initiative to start a student club this year. This club is known as the Voyagers Club. This club basically consists of two domains, that is technical and cultural. Our club had already organized various events recently and will continue to conduct in future too. The main objective of this club is to increase interaction amongst students, enhance skills, holistic development, and participation beyond classroom. Our distinguished guest, Tanvi Singh ma'am, is 2014 batch pass out from our prestigious college. Firstly, I would like to tell that she was a topper of her batch and she started her career with internship at a startup company known as Tempest. And then she joined Intel India, that is Mac Free, and now she is working as technical lead at Akamai Technologies from last 5 years. Today, we are here to get know about her journey and experience. Now, I'd request Tanvi ma'am to take over and share her thoughts and views. Ma'am, please proceed.
Hi, thank you so much for very kind introduction. And hi everyone. So first thing that I want to know that everybody here is in third year, fourth year, or do we have someone from second year and first year as well?
I'm third year and fourth year.
Okay. So the reason I asked is because I wanted all of you to have at least one takeaway from this call, at least one thing that you learned in this session. I'll try to keep it very short and informative so that it is very like least boring and less number of people sleeping as well. Okay, so first thing that I would like to, I'll start from the subjects. So what subjects that you should like really focus on. So that totally depends on what path you are choosing. So you first need to decide whether you want to go for MTech, if you want to appear in GATE, because then the subjects that you'll be focusing on will be different. If you want to go get a job, if you want to start in the software industry directly, then the subjects that you focus on will be different. So because we don't have a lot of time, and so I will only cover one part today, so we can because I started job as soon as I finished college, so I will talk about what subjects you should focus on from first year onwards. So first and the foremost thing is C is very very important subject, very basic, but all of you should know, because once you go for any interview, no matter what language you are opting for, whether you are opting for Java or whether opting for Python or C++, but C is the very basic thing that everybody expects you to know, no matter what. And the concepts in C are very similar that will be used in each and every languages. For example, the data types. So once you know what is integer, once you know what is float, what is character, you can reuse those concepts everywhere. So that is one thing that is important. I'm not saying that all other subjects which I'm not mentioning are not important, but these are the things that you'll have to remember even if you have passed it. So you cannot leave it at the fourth year. You have to have that knowledge with you. Another thing from second year, it will be DBMS. And when I say DBMS, it doesn't just means that you have to theoretically know it. You also have to practice some queries. So like take a database and do try to experiment some queries. Like if you have a customer database and you are asked to find that how many customers have made a purchase between 10,000 and 15,000, so you should be able to write that query. So those are kind of queries that will be asked in interview. Even like when you have experience, even in that stage people will ask you that. So that is one. And then data structures. So data structure is again very very important subject. So even if you don't know everything, try to grab the basics of it. And apart from that, I might actually name the subjects from different year maybe, because it has been a long time and I don't exactly remember. So that is one. And operating system, I think that is in third year. So operating system you should by heart. It is very very important, the concepts of operating system. Whatever you will read is no longer applicable, but still you got to know that, because there have been like so many changes in the operating system. So the theories that are taught to us, they are kind of obsolete. But those things are basics. So if your basics are clear, then you can, on top of it, you can grab anything. And then there is computer organization, that you should know a little bit, because there is this computing the complement, two's complement, and or nors or. So all those things are important, because they will be used when you are writing programs. And da is very important subject. So again, data structures and da is something which is linked together. So once you know about data structures, then you will start writing program in using some algorithm. If you don't know about
Ma'am,
data
sorry for
structure.
interrupting. Our HOD sir and placement officer Abhinav sir has joined. So we all welcome Abhinav sir to this alumni session, and our HOD sir Dr. Hemant Kumar Singh sir to join this session.
Arey,
Thank you,
it's
sir.
okay. It's okay. Please continue, Sanvi. Nice to see you. Nice to see you after so long time.
Hello sir,
Hi,
thank you.
hi, hi. Please continue. Yeah, we'll talk later. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, I was talking about the da. So data structure and da is linked together. So you have to know data structures before you start writing algorithm. So it is very important, like when they'll give you to write some programs, it is very important that you're using the right data structure. The importance of it's like really important, the data structure which you choose, because if you don't choose the right data structure, you might end up writing a program which is not efficient. So it's not always important to solve the problem, it is also important to solve it in the best way possible. If you're trying to go at like really good places like Amazon and all, if you're interviewing for. And compiler is again an important subject. And in compiler, you should know what is compiler, what is the job of compiler, what is interpreter, what is linker. So basic things and example. And I think if you know C, you will be able to relate compiler with compiler. And there is, I don't remember the name, but web technology. Yeah, I think I had underestimated that a lot when I was in third year. So, but that is a very, very important subject. I was able to write HTML programs. I was able to create the HTML page with CSS and everything. And I thought I'm the pro. But it is also important to know what is the significance of the tags. So if you're using a doc type, what is the significance of doc type, why it is used. And also we use encoding, so what types of encoding we can use, what difference would it make. So all that was asked to me in an interview and I had no clue about it. So I asked back to the interviewer that, okay, what is the significance, I don't know, but I want to know for the next time. So you have Google at your fingertip, but the important thing is to know what should you Google. So that is also important to know, because there is a lot of information there and you shouldn't get lost in that information. So these are the important subjects that I can think of right now. So I'll proceed with that. And if I remember any other subjects, maybe we can get back. And if you have any questions at this point, we can talk about that, or I will proceed.
Ma'am, is any other language is important? Like you have told, like C language is very much important in first year or in second year. So any other language is important apart from C?
Okay. Uh, that is a very good question. So C, I have mentioned specifically because C is a subject for us in our syllabus. So if in South India, actually in Bangalore or Kerala, in their syllabus they have Java also as a subject. They have Linux also as a subject, shell scripting, and they have this ASP.NET also as a subject. So they kind of know the basics of all those languages. But even if you don't know a lot of languages, you can make it through, if as long as you are clear with the concepts and you are confident in one language. But because you will be doing your third year project, so choose one language and like get some expertise in that. So when I was in third year, I had chosen Java, so I did my project in Java. And Java, advanced Java, and then there was a new concept introduced that time, hibernate and struts. So whatever language you are choosing, try to go in little deep into that, and do not try to know everything. You are not supposed to know everything. So just one or two languages, but having a good hold on that is very important. And of course, when you choose a language, you limit your options because you can only apply to those jobs. But when you are a fresher, just think like all the opportunities are open for you. Okay, so don't restrict yourself, but know at least, like, get expertise in at least one language.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, Moving ahead, another thing is job market is like very very competitive, and for freshers it is very very difficult to get a job. Like when I was a fresher, I actually used to get angry at some people, like, why are they not referring me? I have like the good resume, I have nice grades, I know a lot of languages. So I was like, if they just get me an interview, I know I can clear it. But I was not getting the interview calls. And later, like when I joined, I started working, I realized that there are no openings for fresher. And that is not a good thing, but that is how it is there. So freshers in good companies are always campus hires. So in my company itself, like, we go into big colleges, we shortlist some interns, like 5 or 10, and then we let them do internship in their fourth year. And from those 10 candidates, we will be converting some of them as full-time employees later. But we do not hire freshers at all, like through any drives or something. But you have to keep looking for it, because there could be a chance that there are some drives conducted for freshers, but it is least likely. So when I say that, then what options do you have? So again, because I am from 2014 batch, and that makes me like very very old person. So my information can be obsolete, but I will still share it, because maybe you can search for that, and Google may lead you to the newest options available now. And especially since pandemic, I think a lot has changed. But and I think whoever is from the recent batch, they will be able to give you the correct job market information. But I can share my experience, the options that were available to me, or options which I found. So one thing very important is, whenever you are going for any drive or for interviews, do talk to the people around you. Like try to make a conversation, because they are also preparing for jobs, right? They are also going to different places, so they are the right people to tell you that, okay, what means they are using to get interview calls. So that is what, like, that is how I did it. So here I had got an internship from campus, and that was like, I was very fortunate to get it, because it is very important that you enter. So again, I will repeat this: whatever job you are getting, grab it. But if you are into, like, if you want to go in software industry, so these customer care kind of things, where you will have to resolve customer issues, those jobs are not going to get you into software industry, coding or anything. But any kind of internship that you're getting, even if it is not your favorite language, just go for it, because freshers don't have a lot of options. Once you've gained like even 1 year of experience, then you can try. There are like variety of options available for experienced people. So yeah, so one is campus placement, so try for that try to get hired in some company. So if you are lucky enough, you will get a job, and then from there it will be sorted. But in case you miss it, it is not end of the world, there are other options available. So I had these exams. There were these exams that used to be conducted, e-litmus and MCAT. So MCAT was, I mean, it was an easy exam, but again, the companies that they would refer to you will not be like very great companies. But e-litmus used to give very good opportunities, and e-litmus is a little difficult exam. But even if you score less, at least you will be called for some companies. So that is yeah, so e-litmus has like a variety, like they have low level companies with less package, and then they, so I got job in Intel through e-litmus. So I went to Bangalore, I was doing my internship, and so I had my expertise in Java, but they assigned me project in PHP, and PHP is like very outdated language and nobody is working on it. And I knew that if I continue to work on PHP, sooner or later I will run out of options to change job. So once you are into that situation, you got to know that you should leave as soon as possible. So try looking for options. So if you are not satisfied at the first opportunity that you've got, keep giving interviews. Okay, it's not so in software industry, nobody is loyal to nobody. So they can fire you anytime and employees can leave job anytime. But yes, there is a notice period that you will have to serve. It's sometimes 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. So keep looking for job. Keep your options available to you. Even if you have a good job, still keep giving interviews, because that way you will be in touch with the industry. And it's not always your fault that you're fired. Sometimes, projects are closed. Sometimes, the clients withdraw the project, and then they don't have any option but to let people go. So what will you do in that kind of situation? So it is very, very important to keep in touch with the market. Then a next option that was there was TCS used to conduct exam, Next Step TCS. So there you can give a written round, and then they will call for interview, and from there they will shortlist few people. So I had given that exam, and in fourth year, and I was shortlisted for interview. And then when I went there, everything went good for the technical round, but I didn't make it through. So okay, so as I said earlier, that I'll get back to the importance of any other subject. So that other subject is in first year, they try to teach us about communications. That is very, very under appreciated, and nobody gives any attention to that subject. Like we just want to pass somehow and just get it over with. But communication is a very, very important part. And when I say communication, it is not just speaking English, it is also the way you say it, the gestures and postures that you are making, and how effectively you are putting your point. All those things are very important. So I was not shortlisted there because I mean, I knew English, as in I can read it and I can barely speak it that time, but I wasn't fluent enough, and it was difficult for me to form sentences and speak continuously. And I think the HR got a nudge of that, and so they did not shortlist me. So basically, I was rejected, and I was rejected based on my communication skills. And I was very, very disheartened, because it was fourth year and TCS seemed like the very, very big company, and I'm like, okay, I'm not shortlisted there, I'm not going to make it anywhere. But you got to trust yourself and keep trying. Don't give up. Even if you're like not getting interviews, not clearing exams, the key is to just keep trying. So I think I had hold of that thing for a year. Like, even if people around will say that, you will get into something more good, maybe TCS was not good enough for you, but you'll not believe it, like unless you get that opportunity. So once I cleared the exam for once I cleared the e-litmus, and then I interviewed into Intel. It was McAfee. Actually, what I joined McAfee, the antivirus company, but Intel had acquired it. So when I joined, it was actually Intel India. And so it was e-litmus was, of course, I had prepared a lot for that. I had like given 2 or 3 attempts, because for big companies they will only call the top players, so many people will be appearing and there is no pass or fail there. So everybody will be assigned some scores, and you got to give that exam to improve your scores. So when I went for Accenture, I'll tell you the difference. When I went for Accenture Drive, that was also through Elitmus. There were at least 2,000 people there, at least 2,000 people, and they were hiring a lot. Like they were to hire some 500 candidates. But when I went for McAfee, there was only one opening, and there were 20 people competing. So out of all the people who had appeared in Elitmus exam, they just shortlisted 20 candidates based on their scores and based on their grades. So there they were asking. So the first interview that I gave in McAfee was for Java, and I was very happy because I had basically mastered Java. So I wanted to work in Java. I had it in mind that okay, I will be always working in Java. So that was it. But then when I went till the next round, to the last round, then they were asking when can you join. So I was already interning somewhere. So I said that I am currently working on 2 projects, and I'll have to do the transition. I'll have to assign it to the people, to someone else, give the KT so that they can continue without me. So that will take at least 15 days. So again, importance of communication skill. If I had known it, so there is a better way to say everything. So it was such a great company. Like imagine I'm working on a startup, they are paying me 15,000, and then I'm getting a job with 6 LPA package. And I did this stupid mistake. I could have actually said that okay, I think I have to transition my project, and I could have negotiated on number of days. But they thought that 15 days is like hard and fast, which like I gave them that sense. So they decided to not hire me. But if the candidate is good, what they do is they keep you in the pool, they keep your CV in the pool, and if there are other openings, they'll refer to that. So I couldn't join that team, but they again called me for other team. There the technology and everything was different. So I always wanted to become a developer. So but the position was for QA, and that was something that I didn't want. And then in the interview they were asking Linux and Python, and I had no idea about it. And then I said I have never worked on Linux, and I said that okay, I don't know anything about Python. All I can tell you, I can assure you, is if you give me a chance, I will learn it for sure. Because when I was doing internship, I did not know about PHP. They gave me 2 projects. Within a month, I learned 2 frameworks and I did it. So I said that I have that confidence that I can learn it. So they were willing to take a bet on me, and then they hired me. And after that, after giving it a chance, so Python is now my favorite language. So just keep your mind open. Don't get yourself, too attached to something. Give chance to, before rejecting something, give it a chance. That is important. So apart from that, so I have covered eLitmus, MCAT, and the next is there will be some drives. So you have to register yourself to some websites like Freshers World, something with Freshers. You will Google it, you'll find it. So they will keep telling you about what drives are available. And other than that, I think you can also create a profile on HackerEarth, HackerRank. Again, I'm not promoting anybody, but this is something that I used. So HackerRank and HackerEarth, they have programs. So there are easy level programs and difficult level programs, and you can solve them in any language. And that is what makes it like really really useful. So you can actually start by easy problems, any language that you're comfortable with. If you have so far only learned C, solve it in C. So any problem can be solved in any language. That is true. Maybe some language give advanced data structure, so it will be easier to solve. But so far I have not come across any problem that can only be solved in a particular language. And if you go for an interview for Google or Amazon, or even in my company, they give you this HackerRank platform, and they give you the problem, and they will let you choose the language. So that is not going to be a restriction there. All you gotta have is logic, and that you will get from practice. So keep practicing, keep even if you're not able to solve it, see the solution, and then try to solve some similar problem. So very basic problem is like finding HCF, finding LCM, finding factorial, all that you gotta by heart those things. So if somebody says find factorial, you it shouldn't take more than 2 minutes for you to solve that problem. So you have to get an expertise to that level, and even for campus interview it is important. So why I said hacker rank and hacker earth is because they have their own drive sometimes. So there will be some challenges there. So most of the challenges I've seen are for experienced people, but a few will be there for freshers as well. So keep looking out for that. So when I was in McAfee, I was working as SDET and I wanted to switch to a developer. So I still had that thing in mind that developer is always better. So want to be a developer. And I thought that developers are getting paid more always and they have like long lasting career. But that is not true. But I did not know it that time. So I was applying for positions. But when you have a title attached to you as QA, nobody is going to call you for developer position. So what do I do? So in my own company, I applied through HackerEarth as an external candidate for a developer position programming hunt. So in that programming hunt, I was in the top two. And then they called me for interview and they were asking, okay, why did not you apply internally? And I said, I am applying, but nobody is giving me a chance. So I had to prove myself there. And now at least you are ready to take interview, because every candidate they shortlist from hacker rank or hacker earth. So company has to pay to hacker earth. So they're like, because you applied from there, now we have to pay them if we hire you. So I said, what can I do? I mean, I had applied to this position and nobody called me, and now you are calling me. So I actually cleared that dev that dev role, and I was going to join it, but then I had some issues internally, and I started interviewing outside, and then I interviewed for Akamai, and then I had an offer from Akamai, and I had this development offer, and I had to make a choice. So I went for the Akamai's offer, and I do not regret that decision. So that was the best thing that I ever did. So I was like in a lot of dilemma that time, that okay, whether I'm making the right choice, because this time if I become SDET, it is gonna stick to me. I can never be a developer then. So it was a hard decision, but and I went for it, and it turned out to be really good. So Akamai is like very great company for growth wise. So now coming to the SDET part. So if any of you would have gone through my LinkedIn profile, you would be wondering what is this title. If I start reading it, I'll read it from morning till evening. Software development engineer in test, senior lead. So I always knew in college that there are two things. One is developer and one is tester. And that is the two roles I knew about. But there is a bridge between that, and that bridge is SDET. So SDET is not purely a QA or a tester, and SDET is not a developer. So developers are the people who will develop the code, who will write the code, and tester are the people who will test that it is working fine. Like think of a website. So somebody developed a website to let's say banking website. So there is a banking homepage and somebody got to log into that, and then they make transactions. So somebody developed it, they are developer. Now whoever is testing that it is working fine or not are the testers. So what is SDET? Like why is there even a need for SDET? So SDET are the people who will review the code. So once developer has developed it, we kind of do a white box testing. White box testing is we will look into the code and we'll try to find out if there is a memory leak, if there is something wrong. Maybe they use the wrong data structure, or maybe they have opened a file and did not close it, or if file pointers are open. So any issue in code that we are supposed to find, plus we can suggest enhancement in the code. Also for testing wise, it will be like QA will be some automation and a lot of manual testing and end-to-end testing. But what we do is we automate everything. So 98% of my job is automation, and only 2% of it involves manual testing, because sometimes I have to do the manual testing to make sure that okay, this I'm understanding it correct. So SDIT is also a very, very good profile. And okay, coming to what profiles you're going to opt for. So again, this will come very later, like after you've grabbed your first job and you're looking for options outside. So at some point in your career, you will have to make a decision that what I want to be. So I mean, nobody was there to tell me. So I had to Google it, but then Google gives you a lot of profiles. So it is very scary. And because if you read the description, it will be like, oh, I cannot do it. मेरे से तो नहीं होगा ये. Then what do you which one is so I have shortlisted like a few that maybe generic ones, and others are like built around it, and to make it fancy they'll add something to that. But there are like very, very few things which is like this. These are the core profiles. So one is developer. Again, I said that you are developing the code, but it is more of saying like, I want to become a doctor. You said I want to become a doctor, but what kind of doctor you want to become? So do you want to be an orthodontist? Do you want to be an orthopedician? Do you want to be a cardiologist? So you'll have to choose at some point of time what kind of doctor you want to be. So similarly, what kind of software professional you want to be. So if you want to become a developer, again, there is a branching, and that is if you want to be a UI developer, which is also called front end developer, or you want to be a back end developer. Now, what is the difference in that? Front end developer is someone who is working on the UI part, like how it looks, how it should look, where should be the login form, where should be the information, the people who say, this should be sliding down here. So all that beautiful UI is developed by UI developers or front end developers. And then there are back-end developers who will be working on the code part, like back-end functionality. So in the banking website, when somebody makes a transaction, it should update the database. It should update the client's account, the account it is credited to. Plus, for passbook, it should add that, okay, next time someone's printing a passbook, this transaction should appear. So who is writing all that code? So front-end code is written in HTML, CSS, Ajax, jQuery, and all that. But backend code is written in some of the programming languages, which will be C++, it could be Java, it could be Python. So there are various options. And so backend developers work on that. So and then there is something called full stack developers. This profile has recently come. Full stack developer is somebody who does all of that. So it's like, I can do everything. Whether you give me front end or back end, I know everything. So if you want to become a front end developer, then you need to know a lot. And why front end developer why this full stack developer profile has come is because because the jobs in the market. So if you are a full stack developer, you can apply to a front end position, back end position, and full stack position. So you have 3 opportunities rather than 1. But again, you got to get expertise on everything. Then next thing will be so developer, and then SDIT. So SDIT I already spoke about, like what do SDIT do? It's like between QA and developer. And then there is QA. So QA is like system testing engineers. So they will be making sure that the functionality is not broken. So it's not just that you test it. So you have tested it, and then there will be something getting added to it. That reminds me, there is a subject that teaches us about all the models, like waterfall model, software development life cycle. So yes, pay a little bit attention to that. It is going to help you later. So at least know that what all approaches are there. So because that is actually something I can relate to in my day-to-day life. So you will not probably understand everything because it's more of a theory to you right now than practical. But try to Google some examples of that, and then you will understand it. So integration testing is like something is developed. On top of that, we add more functionality, and then we make sure that the new code is working, plus the old code is not broken. Old code is also working. And there are various types of testing. In QA also, there are like some people who do the functional testing, but there are some people who are performance engineers. Performance engineers are the people who make sure that the performance is same. So for example, in the banking website again, if there are a lot of people who are logging in at the same time, what is the speed, how soon is the page loading, how soon is the transaction going through, so how long it is taking. So of course it depends on your internet connection, but it also depends on how they have written the code and everything. So there is a one person always who is testing that after adding the new functionality, the performance has not degraded. Now also 100 people can log in at the same time. Earlier also 100 people were logging in at the same time. So performance engineer is a different profile, and there is a lot of demand for that. So if, from my company, one guy had switched to Apple. So he was a performance engineer, and then he got the same profile with Apple. So performance engineering is also like very much in demand. So there is demand for all kind of profiles. There are so many jobs. And one thing I have realized is people lie on their resume a lot, and that is okay. So you got to write things that gets you shortlisted. If you have not done it, you still have to write it. So if I don't know something and I know that this profile is asking for it, I may write it because that will help me get shortlisted. But if you are choosing to lie on your resume, then back it up, then learn about it. If I mentioned I know Python and I don't know about it, then you should know about it before you go into the interview. So one example is when I was changing job, everybody was asking, have you worked on a framework? But the truth is, nobody gives you a framework job to a 1 year experienced person or a fresher. Like nobody will let you touch the framework at all. What if you break it? So how would I have developed the framework from scratch? And that's and everywhere in Oracle and all the places that I interviewed, they were asking for framework. What framework have you developed? So finally I decided to write it in my resume that okay, I have worked on framework development. But if you write it, they are going to ask questions about it. So back it up. So what I did was I learned about the framework that was there in my company. In fact, two different frameworks, two different kind of frameworks, what technology they are using, what is the data flow, what is the design, everything. And when they are interviewing me, I know about it, because the important thing is you should know what you have written, and that is all that matters. And yeah, so and make your resume, and it is important to write a good resume. We get lazy, we do everything, we can write a text of 1000 letters, but when it comes to resume, we are like, okay, what should I write here? I don't want to write, I don't want to put any effort, and we procrastinate a lot for resume. But do put some effort into your resume, because your resume is the thing that will get you shortlisted. So I am hiring for my team, and I also get a lot of resumes. So when I have to shortlist, if your resume itself is not impressive, that would mean you are not investing effort on yourself. And if you are not investing effort on yourself, what is the point of giving you any chance? So that is why it's like, it's very very resume makes a difference. It doesn't make all the difference, but it makes some. So at least write a good enough resume that gets you helps you get shortlisted. Okay, I think I am out of time. Himanshu has strictly warned me, do not talk more than 40 minutes. 20 minutes are for questions. So okay, Q&A.
Ma'am, like I have a question. Like you have already said that you got your first internship through the college campus. So,
Yes.
what kind of projects had you prepared for the interview, or what the interviewer look to the resume? So, what's your opinion?
Okay, if it is a campus hiring thing, then your college will get you there. So they will get you a chance to give interview. So you just have to have an okay resume for college. Even that will be fine. You have to mention your fourth year project. What is your fourth year project? What is the third year project? And you should know about it. It's not just that you are writing it. Even if you have bought it, a lot of people buy the project. So even if you buy it, like if you bought it, just read about it, just know what technology is used, and that will be enough. plus whatever language that you are saying that you are interested in. So that time Composites was here and they were looking for Java. And so there was a sheet they had shared with everybody to write the questions in Java. Plus, okay, one thing I did not mention is you got to prepare for aptitude. So for campus hiring and for external hiring, aptitude is very important. In e-litmus MCAT, what they'll ask is aptitude. By aptitude, I mean verbal, which is English, that this paragraph, that paragraph, the sentence is correct or not. And then they have this logical section, maths related problems. 100 toffee itne rupe ki hai to 200 toffee kitne ki milegi, all that. And then they have this puzzle kind of questions. So you have to prepare for that as well. And again, fourth year, the subjects which we have in fourth year are designed in such way that we don't have to put a lot of attention there. Those subjects are easy and those subjects are not asked in interviews. So you get time in fourth year and do use that time for aptitude. So that is one thing that will get you shortlisted in the first round, aptitude. And then you'll have to give technical interview where they will ask you about various subjects. So the subjects that I had mentioned earlier, just prepare a little bit and they'll ask you what is your favorite subject. So be like prepared. If you say that DBMS is my favorite subject, you got to know DBMS. I said automata. So because that was a safe choice. Very few people know automata, but I don't know how my interviewer knew it, but it was actually my favorite subject. So I got through it. So just be careful what you're saying. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Sanvi ma'am. Hi. Actually, I want to ask that I'm also practicing for a full stack web developer, and I've learned about front end and back end skills. In front end, I've learned about HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript, and in for back end, I am preparing for PHP, Python, and SQL. Apart from this, what the other qualities or skills do I have to gain?
Okay, so whatever you have learned, if that interests you, this is enough. As a fresher, if you said you have worked on CSS and so yeah, when you say jQuery, you got to know a lot of things in jQuery. So not just whatever was there in your project, whatever are the commonly used things. Always search for like top 100 questions asked in interview for jQuery. So you will get, because when I'm taking interview, I'd be like, HR will book a slot and they'll say 3 o'clock you have to take an interview. So I don't have time to prepare that what question I'm going to ask. So I'll also do the same thing. I'll go to Google and say top 100 questions to ask in this. And then I am also asking from that. So if you at least prepare from the top results, there will be a lot of interviews that you'll be able to crack. So what you learned is enough. Just learn it thoroughly.
Ma'am, just a month before only, I gave the interview for the Infosys, and in that they asked me to write a Python program, and with that I have to continuously speak about all the different kind of topics of DBMS. So that was the question that I was asked.
Yeah. So do share these questions in the group for everybody, so that everybody can get an idea of what kind of questions are asked. And again, I'll repeat the point about HackerRank and HackerRat. If you keep solving the problems there, you will get an idea about what kind of problems people are asking, and you will be able to solve it.
Ma'am, before the coding round, the round that is of aptitude, reasoning, and all, how to prepare best for that?
Okay, that is a trick question. So something is instinct. At least for me, it was like puzzle kind of thing that has to come from within you. Like you have to put some brains. So if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, then you invest time in it. So buy any book. Like there are a lot of books in the market, and now at least you have Google, so you can. There was a website, interview bit or something. If I'll remember it, I will probably share it with Himanshu and he can share with everybody. So there they have these questions where I had prepared from. So they have these easy aptitude questions and verbal questions, and there are a lot of other websites also. So you can Google like what is most popular right now, and you can prepare it from there. It is unlimited, of course, but you gotta know every topic a little bit.
In backend, as I have learned about for Python, and Java is also necessary. Do I have to learn that, or it's just fine? Python, PHP, it's fine.
It is fine as long as you're willing to learn Java. So in case you, uh, let's say you got into an interview where you don't know Java and the position is for Java, then you should say, see, you give me any program, I'll be able to solve in Python. And I am very quick learner, and I'll be able to quickly learn and switch to Java if you give me a chance. So that's the same thing I used for my interview.
In full stack, what are the projects that I have to make? Uh,
So whatever you mentioned is full stack, right? Because you developed front end, you developed back end, you worked on database thing. So all of that together is what full stack developer do.
Ma'am, for the interviewer, I made a website named as a Musician Nation, and in that I have mentioned all the topics and all the details about the different instruments and chords and all, and how to play those chords with the sound quality also. So that is the project that I have made with the full stack quality. And apart from that, which are the other products that I can make to show the interviewer?
Okay, I think this is a very nice project, and one tip for everybody: do learn how to, explain your projects very interestingly. Even if you have like a really bad common project, the way you say it, the way you explain it, it should sound very interesting to the person who is listening. So that is one thing. And then your question that what other projects? So you can look upon what are the I mean, based on if you're working on Python, so you don't have to work on a lot of projects to be shortlisted in an interview. If you worked on one project, then the next thing that you need to do is to gain some more knowledge of it, and one way is to read about it, and second way is to do project about it. So do take any project, it doesn't matter. So any project that helps you learn that language. So when I was in Python, I had developed in Django. So I was learning Python, and then I was learning Django. Django is a framework. I did my first project, I knew like 10%, just the 10%. I barely made it through linking everything. And then when I did the second project, I knew 50%. And then I recently did my third project in Django. And now I know almost 90% of the things there. So it comes with, so do choose one thing in Python itself, and then try to develop it and try to learn all other ways to do it.
Is it necessary to learn the frameworks like Django for Python?
It will increase your chances if you know, but if you don't know also, I think you can manage to crack the interview.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure, Aryan. Thank you for a lot of questions. That will be helpful for everyone.
Ma'am, there's a question.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again. Ma'am, if I am going for full stack and I have made a full website that is both front end and back end whole part, and then it's a good major project for this profile or not?
Can you repeat your question? I think your voice was breaking.
Ma'am, for full stack, if I made a website includes front end and both in part, front end and back end part,
Okay.
then it's a good major project for full stack profile or not?
Yes. So a full stack profile is, again, so depend on the company. So let's say there is one company and your project is involves front end is almost same for everybody. It's HTML, CSS, jQuery, and there are actually some new things, but mostly it is that. And back end varies for everyone. So it could be Java, it could be Python, it could be PHP. So if I am a company, I am interested in Python, I will be looking for someone who has knowledge of Python. If other company, so even if you have developed full stack, as a fresher, actually everybody is full stack because you are kind of trying to learn everything. So you don't have to worry about full stack a lot right now, but after a point you will have to take a decision. Right now I will just say be open to any position. If you are getting a front end developer position, go for it. Back end, go for it. At least gain some experience, and then you can choose your specialty. So even same thing happens in medical, right? They teach you everything for few years, and then they let you take your major, and then you decide your major, and then you gain specialty in that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, there's a question apart from like study purpose or interview or placement. Ma'am, what is the most creative excuse you have ever used to get out of your homework assignment?
Okay, and do you expect me to answer that in front
Yes,
of
ma'am.
everybody?
Yes.
Okay, I think you asked the wrong person, and since Sunit sir is here, so he can tell you. I would do all my assignments first, and then I'll give it to everybody to copy.
Yeah, ma'am, we have heard about you. You were never into the nonsense and all.
So even if I do it on last day, I always leave deadlines. I have this habit. I start to panic if I don't do it.
Ma'am, there's one more question. So ma'am, you have already said you are hiring. Like, so what your expectation from a student's resume, or what kind of thing you are looking for that should
Okay.
be in the.
Okay. So the thing is, again, as I said, that for freshers, none of the companies will directly hire freshers. At least these. Okay, I did not tell you about product and service-based companies. So there are service-based companies who hire people, and then they make like keep in pool, and then they assign them some projects like TCS, Infosys, Accenture. All these companies are service based companies, so they work for some client. And then there are some companies which have their own product, and they are hiring for someone to work on that product. So like Amazon is a product based company, and McAfee is a product based company. They have their antivirus, and they want someone to work on it. And then my company is again a product based company. So mostly product based companies, they go for this campus hiring. But your question was like what I look in the profile. So like whatever profiles I'm getting is like 2 years 3 years experience people. So what I look for is they have worked a little bit on Linux, like even if they have touched upon it, and a basic knowledge of one scripting language. So what I truly believe is, if you know Python or Perl or shell scripting, if you know any one of them, you can quickly learn. So what I look for is logic. So I give them programs. If they are able to solve, if they are able to solve the puzzles that I give them, then they have the logic to do it, and then they can come and learn it. So I'm willing to take a chance. But most of the time I've seen that people are also strict about. So sometimes they are like, you have to know Python, and then only I'm going to hire you. So it varies. Like everybody has different mindset. All the recruiters have different mindset.
Thank you, ma'am.
There is one
Okay.
question. There is one question in chat box. What advice would you give to a college freshman?
That okay, I think I've given a lot of advices for today. So just keep an open mind. That is one thing. That be ready to accept anything. So when even they told me here in the campus that they are hiring me specifically for Java project, and I had learned so much in Java that I so much wanted to work on it. But when I went there, there were 15 candidates that they hired, and they randomly put in any project. So I got PHP, and PHP is like, I was like, okay, this is there are not a lot of openings for PHP. What would I gain? Plus they wanted me to learn 2 new frameworks, and I was like, this will be totally useless because I'm not going to work on it later. And I raised this concern, but they weren't to listen. So what I did was, instead I learned it. And it's not as bad, because if you know one programming language, you can learn any programming language. So just keep an open mind, give it a chance to everything, and then decide whether you like it or not. And second is don't give up. Keep trying. Even if you're not getting into 100 interviews, keep trying. You'll get some time.
Ma'am, one question that like you mentioned that communication skills are very important. So how can we work upon it to improve those skills? Any
Okay.
suggestions?
Yes, that is a great question. So, communication skills. So, when I was in college, everybody used to say, "Do talk to your friends in English," but कोई नहीं बात करता. Even if you try, they'll laugh back at you. And other thing is that even if you want to talk, there are a lot of words that you don't know. You don't know how to put, like, how to say this thing exactly, and you don't know if you're saying it right. So for me, one way was books. So I read a lot of books, like novels. So I actually read motivational novels, but you can read any genre that is interesting to you. But I understand, like, not a lot of people read books. So the second thing is you can watch some TV series or movie. And okay, I'm saying that here. I realize that I'm giving an advice movie, but don't overdo it. But do try to watch some movies. And whoever is watching an English movie in like dubbing in Hindi is a crime. Like, don't do it. Just stop doing it right away. You have to, even if you, let's say, watched it in Hindi, then rewatch it in English, and then try to see whatever they said in Hindi, now they're saying in English. So let me correlate to that. So how I started that is I started with the movie Pursuit of Happiness. It's a really good movie if anybody wants to watch. And then so first time when I watched it with subtitles, because their accent is very different. So the English that I am talking and English that they are talking, is you have to listen to very carefully what they're saying to get what they're saying. So I wasn't subtitles, and I was continuously reading what they are saying and not able to put attention to the movie at all. And then I watched it without subtitles. So this time I was trying to decrypt it. It's like they are talking in some Chinese or something. I'm trying to decrypt it, and it's very important because now I have like half of my team in Santa Clara, US. So when I talk to them, they have the same accent. So actually, it has helped. So if you start watching it, and if you can watch it without subtitles, that means you are there. You can at least you are at least able to decrypt. Plus, if you watch something, you can even watch documentaries. If you're not into movies, watch documentaries. So anywhere where they are like speaking English, because it is very important to know the pronunciation of the things and the way people say things and what are the different ways of expressing something. So let's say if someone has to say that, okay, I don't think I have enough time, you could also say I'm running out of time. Or if you don't have money, you can say I'm running out of money. So there are different ways to say it, and then if you watch someone say it, it will be in your memory for a long time. That worked for me.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering.
Okay. Anything else?
I think you covered all the questions. If anyone want to ask anything, then can write in chat box.
Hello, Sanvi.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm very happy to see you here, because I was asking you, Anshu, and looks like all other teachers have left, but I'm really glad you're still here and I could meet you.
Yeah, I am also very happy to see you after a long time. And I want to tell that Sanvi was very sincere and in all
So now
submitting assignments and attending classes. And she was also the topper of the batch. Okay, so I'm sure that your juniors will be benefited with your experience and suggestions. And we will soon organize a session on campus also. In campus also, according to your availability, when you
sure.
will be available.
I will. I mean, I'll make time. If anybody could benefit from my experience, I am willing to share. I mean, that will be dependent on today's session conclusion. Like once I log off, then people can bitch about me, and then like, oh, what was she talking? So if there is anything useful, okay, I can come and talk even in person. Although I have a fear of public speaking, and I was very very nervous before this session, and I did not know if I'll be able to talk, but somehow I managed. So do things that scare you. That is also a lesson for everyone.
Okay, Sanvi, anything else, Karan?
So if anyone one has like any question you are not comfortable writing here, you can drop me a message on LinkedIn. You don't have to be my connection. You can just drop me a message and I will reply at my earliest convenience. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you everyone for tolerating me for so long.
And I think what you shared with us today was very inspiring and motivational. And this will definitely help us to build our career, and also, moreover, it will change our life too. So I would like to thank you for giving your precious time to us.
Very glad to
Thank you
hear.
so much, ma'am.
Thank you everyone.
thank you,
Bye.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Okay, Sanvi.